that guy's funny. I walked by him in the parking lot, and he said, loud enough for me to say and hear in his phone, "Hey Siri, how do you beat Ben Johns?" That's some quality comedy right there.
What's up, guys? Thanks for joining me here. I know last time I did a video like this where I did some analysis of a match that me and my partner played against Ben Johns. I got some great feedback on it. You guys really enjoyed it. So now today we have round two. My partner, Carlos Delora, who's a good friend of mine, he trains with me in Austin all the time. We play together. He's amazing, used to be an amazing tennis player. He played for Texas Tech, Texas Tech. He's been playing pickleball for a couple years now, and him and I partnered up in this previous tournament in Las Vegas, the Rate Vegas Cup. PPA. So what I want to basically do is we're going to take a look at the second game of myself and Carlos taking on Ben Johns and Gabe Tardio, currently the #1 team in the world. You can see things are already kind of getting going here, but I'm just going to give you kind of an overview of kind of how we got to where we're at. If you remember, I did this a couple months ago. I played a match with Blaine Hovenier against, I think it was the round of 16 against Gabe and Ben. And in that match, we had a very different strategy. Blaine is a big server, huge ground strokes. And so going into that match, Blaine and I had talked about putting a lot of transition pressure, driving, crashing, trying to play fast through transition and kind of get some quick and easy points and get some momentum. Carlos and I, who practice together all the time, have found that our game style is a lot better when we play much slower. So we went into this match thinking we're going to try to drop the ball, we're going to reset in transition, we're going to try to play kind of slow and methodical, up to the kitchen line. And then when we get there, we're going to look for opportunities to attack. So in game one, we actually jumped out to I think it was a 4-1 lead maybe. And then we were at 4-4 for a long time, probably like 4 to 5 side outs back and forth. So even though game one was 11-4, it was pretty competitive. It was pretty tight early on in the game. And then they just kind of caught a hot streak and ran away with the rest of that game. But you can see we're picking it up here in the second game. We're up 3-1. So again, we kind of jumped out to an early lead. And I wouldn't say we've done anything super special. We're just trying to play kind of consistent, steady ball. And a bit of the scouting report on Ben is that he can be a little bit disinterested in these kind of early round matches. So I assume we did get a couple of errors from him early, kind of same with Gabe, which is can be kind of typical. But our goal right now is we're up 3-0. We're just going to try to kind of take that lead and see if we can kind of build it up a little bit bigger and bigger, because 3 points to them, not a whole lot. They can erase that in no time. But if we can get it up to 5 or 6, then maybe we can put some scoreboard pressure on them.
John made the right call. That just goes right back into the kitty to use later.
I would say in this match, it was majority of kind of dropping and playing slow through transition.
All the way down the line. Wow.
So you can see in that point a couple key things here. Let's go back and take a look at some things. Number one, I think it's really important that when you're playing against Ben, you've got to be willing to dink to his backhand, because if you don't pull him off the court, if you don't kind of keep him honest to that backhand side, he just gets so big in the middle and he can play so much court and put a lot of pressure on you. So I feel like one of our goals was to kind of keep going back behind him and make him kind of cover that wide backhand side. And at least that's going to spread our court out a little bit. So let's see if we can take a look at that here. So you can see right away, I'm dinking kind of up his line to keep him over there. Once he gets in it with Carlos, then it's going to be kind of more of the same. He is going to mix up the spots. We'll go middle sometimes, but this ball right here from me, I'm pulled wide, rather than try to wrap it all the way back cross court. And you can see Ben's little movement here where he's leaning to his right, looking to maybe pick it off if I go back cross court. So by me going back down the line, I'm just, kind of making him go cover that and respect that a little bit. Again, more of the same. A lot of balls to the backhand there. Ben hits a really good dink. Carlos is forced to stretch, which means he's going to have to play kind of more passive. He's not going to be able to hit back cross court. He's going to have to reset in front of him. He gets Gabe gets a dead dink, which is one of the most dangerous shots in pickleball, because when the ball's dead in front of Gabe like this on his forehand, he can do literally anything with it. So, but you're gonna see one shot that Carlos did extremely well in this match, which is called the Scorpion. So the Scorpion is where you kind of put your paddle up in a forehand kind of pancake position and you duck down. So that way you've got this whole area that you can cover. So see, Carlos takes a step back, he gets into that Scorpion position, and even though the ball comes, you know, over there to his left shoulder, he's able to get the paddle kind of across and cover that and get it back down on Gabe. Gabe gets it back one more time, but now Carlos got time to load up on the second ball. He attacks, gets Gabe a little bit jammed up on the backhand, and we end up getting that point. So very nice counterattack, initial counterattack there from Carlos, because, you know, again, that dead dink on Gabe's forehand when you're right in front of him is a scary position to be in. Okay, so now we're picking it up at 5-1. We got a couple loose errors for them. We got a return error, kind of a easy missed ball from Ben. So this is that lead we kind of talked about where we can start to extend this to 5 or 6 points. We're good. We played a couple of loose points here. You could see I just missed kind of a high easy backhand that would have gave us 6-1. And then in this one, we're in the dink rally where we want to be, and Carlos misses a pretty routine dink for him. So that's tough because we work, you know, to get to 5-1. If we get, like I said, I think if we can get that to 6-1, 7-1, maybe that's a lot of scoreboard pressure and we can end up closing out this game. But against a team like this, 5-1 is just not comfortable. Let's go back and check this out real quick. We're going to see why Gabe is so difficult to speed up on. I think he's probably one of the best at pickleball in bringing his backhand across his body and still getting good power on it. So let's check out this speed up from Carlos and watch how easily Gabe just kind of dismisses it. So let's set this up. I get a middle ball. I hit a pretty aggressive shot. Ben's forced to take it as a half volley here. And then because of that, we get a nice dead dink. So Carlos has got a dead dink here in the middle. Definitely an attackable ball, definitely something you want to, you know, a ball you'd like to do something with. And so with Gabe, it's pretty well known that like his backhand is just a no-go zone. You cannot go into the backhand. So Carlos hits what I think is the right shot here. You know, he's going to try to take this ball kind of across to Gabe's right hip and see if he can get the backhand kind of jammed up or get into the forehand side. The problem with this is the window is so small, because if you don't get it across enough, then Gabe's on the backhand. If you get it too far across, then he just lets it go and the ball goes wide. So in theory, the shot's there, but it's a very small window to try to hit. So Carlos pulls it. I'd say he hits it in a pretty good spot, but you can see Gabe come all the way across, kind of manipulate his body, and just very easily kind of puts that away. In slow motion, it looks good, but how quickly that happens, let's watch this again in real time, it's pretty impressive. All right, so 5-2 now. They're making a little bit of a push. I think we got a couple fun points coming up here, so let's check these out. I think we got some extended rallies, some fun ones. So let's go look right off the bat, just what we talked about. Carlos hits another good ball, gets Ben kind of reaching a little bit, and you can see I'm looking to fill the middle. Ben pops it up just a touch, and I'm looking to hit that same shot that we just talked about. I'm looking for this spot, trying to find that chicken wing or trying to get him to have to go to his forehand. So I think I did a pretty good job of putting the ball where I want, but again, Gabe's so fast that he's able to get his paddle from backhand to forehand, and just quick enough, but he can't get a lot on it. And so now I still got what I wanted out of this because his counter wasn't super heavy. So we're still kind of in control of this hands battle. Carlos is ready, he gets the attack, but you know, against Gabe and Ben, everything's gonna come back. So you gotta kind of be ready for that. So let's roll and see how this plays out.
Wow. Cincola even got that.
Yeah, tough point. I mean, we got what we wanted. Ben had an ATP. I was able to defend it, but just too good from those guys.
And guess who's there for backup? Ben earlier in the rally. Wow. These stab gets. Couldn't get.
Yeah, that was a fun one. So you can see kind of more of the same there. Like I said, we were looking to play slower through transition, but definitely anything we got out of the air, anything we got attackable, we're just pulling the trigger. We're not going to let them dictate everything that's happening on the court. So let's take a look again. I handle the first drive, Ben drops. Almost the exact same situation. Carlos hits a good ball. If you notice, we've gotten a lot of opportunities getting Ben stretched out to the backhand. So Carlos hits a good ball. Ben tries to go cross. I'm kind of hovering middle here, looking for the ball out of the air. I know if I can get the ball out of the air, then, you know, I'm probably going to pull the trigger and go for an attack. So I'm reaching in. This time, rather than go Gabe's right shoulder, I decided to go. Really, I think what I was trying to do with this ball, I knew Ben would be recovering back. And so I was trying to go back kind of behind him like this. I think I mishit it. I missed my spot by a little bit. Ended up finding his forehand. He does a good job just fighting it off, resetting it. I get a little jammed up on the next one. It's a little awkward, so I got to go to a pancake. Somehow make that work. And then, you know, you can see where we want to be in this point. Like, we're both right at the line. These guys are both, you know, about 2 steps, maybe 1 to 2 steps off the line. So anytime you're in a hands battle and that's the case, you want to keep the pressure coming. You want to stay on the attack. Which is what we do. We just keep going, keep coming at them.
Stab gets.
Finally, on this last one, I see Ben's kind of all the way back here. And so I'm doing a little bit of deception here. You could see I'm taking a big backswing to kind of show that I'm going to try to push the ball like deep back to him and keep him pinned here. And I just kind of hold it and instead drop it short. And even as quick as Ben is, he just wasn't quite able to get there. So fun point there. That was a good one. Okay, so they've made a bit of a pushback. They got it back to 5-all. We get the ball back. We're serving now. So we're kind of right in the thick of it, but we still feel like we're right in there. I hit a pretty good drop there. Carlos, nice job coming forward and looking to find that quick attack there. So we do grab the lead right back.
6-5-1.
How in the world did that go over? Well, this will be fun. What are you going to do, Carlos?
Oof. This was a tough one. I think I was giving him some crap there after that. But in all honesty, this was a tough one because I felt like there was a little momentum there. We had gotten a couple like kind of drop and crash points. If we get that, we're at 7-5-1, you know, with the serve still. And I feel like we're kind of have a chance to get going. This one here was bad luck. I kind of liked, let's take a look at how this unfolded. I was really happy with my drop. I hit a good roll drop here from a tough position. Again, got the half volley on Ben. And so now immediately I'm thinking attack again. And again, you guessed it, I'm looking for the same spot, looking to find this on Gabe. This is one of my favorite shots to hit, kind of what we call an inside in. So why I love this position so much is technically I have 3 options. So when I get a dead dink in this position, I've got middle speed up, I can go inside out dink, and I can go inside in. So it puts the opponents in a tough spot because they really have 3 things that they have to cover kind of all at the same time. So I decided to pull inside in. Tough to say whether he would have had it or not. He kind of read it and was sliding, but the ball ends up hitting the net and popping up. And that just kind of flips things because now Gabe's got a dead ball in front of him and he's going to immediately take control with the speed up. So tough luck there. I think 2 opportunities that we could have had like 7-5, maybe 8-5, and again, really been able to put a little scoreboard pressure on.
1. Point.
That's a heck of a drive there from Ben. That's a tough spot because, let's go back and look at that real quick. I think I actually said to Carlos after this, I said no more slice returns because, see, it started off with a good serve. Carlos ends up having to slice the return because I think he was just a little bit out of position. And the problem with that is that gives a lot of potential topspin to your opponent. So I'm sure Ben knew that. Ben's a highly intelligent player. He sees the slice. And even though he's been dropping most of the match, that's kind of a green light to drive the ball. So he hits a very heavy drive. I kind of position myself in the middle of the court, and I know Carlos is going to be a little bit late. So I'm in a tough spot here of like, do I reach over and take this? Or do I trust that Carlos is going to be able to handle that kind of trying to move forward in the court from a tough spot? So I think great spot from Ben to kind of make us force us into that decision. I end up trying to take it, and I'm just a little late on it. So no good on that one.
Massive. Right through the middle too.
Yes.
So just some slight confusion.
So now we're right back tied up again. We thought we had a chance to build a lead, but we can't really just get a whole lot of separation from these guys. All right, another good point. Let's go look at that. So there's some good things happening here. One thing that I always teach all the time is when you're on defense, don't take the ball back cross court, okay? So one of the most common mistakes that I see at the rec level is everybody tries to hit everything cross court, okay? So let's take a look at this example of this in this point. Starts off with a really good shot from Ben. I know that Gabe's going to be kind of bearing down on this, so my main goal with this is just get it away from him. So I'm trying to get this ball over here because I know Gabe is kind of occupying all this space looking to either poach or reach, whatever. So that's my main goal on this first shot. Just make the next ball bounce, get it away from Gabe. Because of that, I end up giving kind of a dead ball to Ben, so they're still in control here. Ben's got a lot of options with this next shot. He ends up going line. And now we're still on defense. Ben's got control. And again, same thing. I'm fully stretched. I'm in a very tough spot here. My number one goal is, again, when you're on defense, make the next ball bounce. And the easiest place to do that is just right in front of you here, okay? So I'm full stretch. I'm just gonna try to half volley this ball and make it bounce in front of Gabe. I hit a pretty good shot. He's able to reach in and get it out of the air, but I'm happy with that because I got it at least low. Now, finally, after 4 shots, I'm able to get set up on a ball, and we're able to kind of turn this point from a little bit of defense and maybe get to neutral or even start thinking offense, okay? So you can see this one I'm a little more set up on. I can hit a more aggressive dink, and now we're in a more neutral dink position. So we went from first 4 shots, defense. Now I finally find, neutral, and then this very next ball, Ben floats just a little bit. I'm able to reach in and poke it. And again, I'm thinking that same spot. I'm thinking try to find the kind of right hip. Gabe reads it again, but he's a little late, and then so consequently his counter goes long. So that's a great example of how, we were just grinding 3-4 shots of defense of just kind of half volley resets, playing the ball shallow, playing it soft. And then once I got my feet under me, then I found that kind of cross-court offensive dink and then worked from there. All right, so we're picking it up at 7-all here. I think we got another good kind of long, fun point coming up. You can see we're still looking to play slow, drop through transition. Let's go back and again look. So you can see this strategy that I'm trying to use here that I've talked about before. I hit a backhand. as soon as I see that, you know, Ben's kind of in a tough spot, he's kind of reaching out, so he doesn't have two hands on the paddle. I know he can't put maybe a ton on the cross-court dink. So you could see me right here start to cheat, okay? I'm gonna start moving this way because my goal is if I can turn that backhand dink and find the next one into a forehand, then I feel like I can create more kind of problems or opportunities for us. So I'm gonna move way around. Now again, we're in the same position that I talked about before. I feel like from here I have three options. I have this speed up, that dink. And again, for me, this kind of creates opportunities. It creates coverage problems for opponents. I decided to go this time with the inside out dink. Honestly, didn't hit it as well as I wanted to because Ben ended up getting the ball out of the air. So that wasn't a great kind of execution on my part. So now I'm in a little bit of trouble because he gets the ball right back on top of me quickly. I got a half volley, and now we're kind of in a defensive position, you know, due to that little bit of a high dink that I hit. Carlos loves this speed up. I'm not so sure about it, but he gets away with it this time. It's a little kind of hold the paddle, slice down the line, try to use a little bit of deception. But, you know, Ben's seen it all, so it's not really fooling anybody. Ben's ball goes off the tape. The crowd always loves a good kind of dribble over net cord. It always adds some drama to the point. Again, you can see the same thing. I look to find that forehand again, look to kind of create some options there. Now after all that, we're right back into it. Back into this cross court, trying to work Ben wide. And this one again, looking for the same thing. Unfortunately, this ball clips the tape, which kind of changes its trajectory a little bit, and then gives Ben an easy ATP. Carlos is there to dig it, but just can't quite get it up over the net. So tough point there. A lot of good things happening. It just didn't go our way on that one.
Back to one.
Carlos had his right shoulder covered. Ball didn't go near there, and we are at match point.
All right, so picking it up at 10-7 here. As usual, you know, Ben and Gabe were able to come up with some good points when they needed them. Got a little lead on us, and we're just trying to fight them off. So let's take a look at this 10-7 point, because I was pretty proud of this one personally. Again, you're going to see these same patterns over and over. So good drop from Gabe, catches Carlos on the move. Anytime you see a half volley like this, so you see Carlos have to take the ball off the half volley, usually it's going to force a kind of a dead shot next. So Carlos, again, smartly plays the ball cross court because he sees Ben's, you know, lurking here in the middle. So really the only option is cross court to try to get it away from Ben. But what that does do is that gives Gabe a dead dink on his forehand side, which we talked about is very difficult to deal with. He can hit any spot on the court from there. He can make you look silly. So he decides to go with the down the line speed up. You know, I think he's seen all this space here. You can see where I'm at. I'm kind of flowing over there, but I'm not quite there yet. So he decides to go down the line. I do a nice job of, you know, getting a big stride over there and covering this. And even though I'm at full stretch, I take very little backswing and I just angle my paddle to try to get this ball down in the court, right? So if you're ever in trouble and you can't get a full swing on a counter, at least get your paddle angle correct to get the ball on a downward path. So I'm able to do that and get it down. And now I know that the next ball has to come back up. So I'm looking to kind of come over here and right away kind of attack this next ball. I take a quick step over. Ben does a nice job of even from this low position, still keeping the ball pretty soft and low, but I'm able to get on it quickly and kind of expose his position and get the ball back behind him. So that was kind of a 1-2 that was pretty tough there. I was in a tough position to fight that off from Gabe and then jump on the next one.
Nice play from Cincola right there.
So we fight off one match point. We live to fight another one.
Cincola to be right on the next ball. Another crack at it.
So we're 10-7 still, match point for Gabe and Ben. Yeah, I like that speed up from Carlos. Ben was there, he read it, but Carlos hit it kind of just off pace enough to get it low. And then Ben kind of overhit it a little bit, and Carlos was smart to let that ball fly out. So get the ball back. We got a chance to cut into the lead a little bit here. Okay, this is a really good shot. It may look simple, but let's talk about why this is such a good shot that Ben just hit. So we've talked about this pattern. You know, Gabe hits a wide ball. Carlos is kind of reaching a little bit. Ben knows if Carlos is going to come back cross court that he's going to try to intercept it and take it out of the air. And Carlos hangs it just a little bit. Ben's able to reach in. I'm shifting this way because I know I'm going to sit on my forehand side, okay? And here's the reason why. If I shift over this direction and then I sit forehand, most likely that ball is going to come through here somewhere, and then I can counter back with a forehand. If I'm shifting this way and Ben tries to hit out here, that's a very, very small window for him to get it to my backhand side, but also keep it in the court, okay? So Ben sees me sitting forehand, and he's able to put this ball on my kind of outside, on my left hip, which again is a very tight window. If I would have let that ball go, that ball is probably landing like in the corner of the court, you know? So looks like a simple shot, but super kind of smart play from him to read kind of where I was sitting, how I was shifting, and then find that spot.
Outside hip.
Yeah.
Precision speed up from Ben Johns.
7-10-2.
All right, that was a pretty sick shot, and I'm not gonna lie, I just got a little bit lucky. So let's take a look at this again. Carlos's face kind of says it all. Pretty typical. I just hit kind of a push drop, nothing special, but I'm moving in pretty quickly behind it. I see Ben's letting the ball bounce. And anytime the ball's cross court from me, I'm always gonna pinch middle because I want Carlos to have to worry about this if he knows that I've got this covered, right? That means he doesn't have to cover both sides of his body. So I'm coming in, I'm thinking pinch middle. Ben does a pretty good job of getting it low, but I just happen to read it right and get a paddle on it and hit it pretty hard through the middle. And even Gabe's not able to kind of react in time. So that was a tough shot. I don't think, you know, that's probably a shot I make like 3 out of 10 times. So not super high percentage, but I went for it and it worked out. All right, so 8-10, we're making it close. It's interesting here. I think one more, and again, we're back to some scoreboard pressure. Okay, same patterns again. We're looking to work that Ben backhand a little bit. Tough one. I love that speed up. He had a dead ball. It was our intention to kind of pull off, you know, dead balls or out of the air, and he had a great look at it. He just barely missed it long.
Second serve.
Okay, so we're definitely feeling like if we can get the ball back here, then we got a pretty good chance. We would have saved 4 match points here if we get the ball back. Unfortunately, you will see that I hang a dink a little bit, and hanging a dink to Ben's backhand is not going to work in your favor, and that was that. So overall, great match, super fun match. Love playing with Carlos. We have a good time out there. We made it close in the second game, and that's all I got for you. Hopefully you learned a lot from this breakdown. See you in the next one.